Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Horizon Leeds YouTube channel. I'm Megan, venue manager here at Horizon, and it's been a while. We have been incredibly busy, which is fantastic. We are definitely in full swing of conference season, which is brilliant. I know any venues out there probably feeling similar to us, and then are probably going to be going into a busy Christmas as well, so good luck. And any organisers watching this, I hope all your conferences have gone well and that you've got some fantastic Christmas parties planned, but you will get away, have a break, and be able to have a drink or two and a couple of mince pies. So today I want to talk about something that's really popular in Horizon at the moment, and that's video conferencing. Now, we've always really pushed video conferencing, especially in our small room, our boardroom for 20 think at, and we have a VC facility in there. However, what we're finding is getting more and more popular, and I think it's something to do with the change in culture and the understanding of our carbon footprint and our green credentials, but looking at actually if we can look when we're looking at key speakers, not always having to have them on site. So if you have a key speaker come to you, say based in America, and they can't just come over for an hour, it doesn't matter. You can video conference and they can have a fantastic experience doing that. We've done video conferencing at another event that we work very closely with, a venue that's way too big for us, but for over 1,000 people. So it is possible to do it on that big scale, and it can work really well. Think about the BBC, they do it every day. So it's just about how you use the technology and making sure you're thinking there's key things you need to consider when planning this. And this is something that the venue can help with, or it could be the venue's AV team, depending. We do it in-house here, but some venues will turn to their AV team for that support. So when I'm talking about video conferencing, what type of software am I talking about? There's lots out there, and many of them are free. But the big ones that you'll know about are things like Skype, although I will say in 2021, it is going to be sort of discontinued. They're going to start unsupporting it. So you need to take that into consideration actually when you're deciding what you're doing going forward. Microsoft Teams is very popular. Zoom is incredibly popular. We really like that here at Horizon, nice and simple to use. WebEx, Google Hangouts. So there's lots of different options for software, and as I say, you can use yours, or you could speak to the venue or the AV company and find out who they would recommend. So let's think about what you need to consider when doing something, a video conferencing on such large scale. So a lot of the time the presenter won't be able to see the audience. If you're talking about 200 people in Create, they won't be able to see that. Sometimes they'll request, which is absolutely fine, that we put a webcam on their laptop, and turn it round so they can, on our laptop, and turn it round so they can see the audience, which does help, but sometimes people can find that quite off-putting. So the big thing I think you've got to do is make sure that you are having a rehearsal with them. So a couple of practice calls. You've got to take into consideration obviously the time differences, but also when the venue will be able to do it. So it might quite often be sort of in an evening after a standard event day. And try and get them to, yes, use the laptop or the computer, the cameras that they're going to be using on the day, but also the room that they're in, because actually that's just as key, making sure that you have seen the room before and you know it's suitable. So, a couple of things. Number one has to be internet connection, both from the venue and from the presenter, who a lot of the time could be at home. So making sure they've got good internet connection that's not going to drop halfway through, because it's really difficult to then get that conversation back going, especially when you've got 200 people looking at you. So making sure good internet connection, that could be through going through hardwire. So have those conversations and make sure you've got something set up for that. So that's number one. Number two, now I'm sure you have all seen the video of the man who is being presented, who is presenting and being talked to on TV, and his children crawl into the room and start dancing in the background. It's hilarious, but some subjects it would really not be suitable for. So make sure that you're talking to the presenter about things like that and seeing the space. So things like really, really basic things, not having a mirror or a window behind you, because it can really distort the image on the screen. So that's one big thing. Another thing is around look at what there is. So like, is there books in the background? Are they suitable? Are there things, family pictures that they might not want out on display? Is there anything that could be seen as confidential, GDPR, behind the presenter? So have a really good look around and see the take away from the presenter and look at the surroundings. Another thing is lighting. So right now I'm talking to you and I've come away slightly from the ceiling tiles which have lights in. You're alright with spotlights, but don't be right underneath a fluorescent light or you kind of look like a little bit like a dictator. It's not a very good look. So really do think about where you position the presenter. And then that comes on to looking at the quality of the image. So microphones. A lot of people, like for example, we just use a phone. The lovely Natalie is currently shaking her hands, trying to hold the camera as still as possible. But we just do it off the cuff like this and we don't use any mics. However, if we were going to be more professional, if I was going to do this in front of 200 people, then I would probably look at maybe using a webcam. Don't always see if the mobile phone's good enough. It could be that actually you need a better laptop. So I'm just laughing because Natalie's just shaking as we speak. She's normally so good. So that's one thing to think about. So is the camera good enough? Do we need to bring in additional cameras? Do we need to bring in a webcam, etc.? And then the other thing is microphones. You can get some really cheap, reasonable microphones now that you can pop in the bottom of your mobile phone attached to your laptop. So is your laptop microphone good enough? Are you going to get that horrible tinny sound? Because bearing in mind it's all right for us, but if this person is speaking to 250 people, even putting it through the best PA system, it might not sound the greatest. And also you might be recording it on top of that. So really make sure you're giving yourself loads of time so you can test these things, because actually it's not that costly to fix them, it's just that we need to know about them beforehand. And things like we're discussing at the moment, is my Christmas present going to be a light ring to try and improve the quality of these under a tripod so poor Natalie doesn't have to shake, but to improve the quality of the picture. So have a think about things like that, and that's stuff that the venue and or the AV company should be able to support you with. So just going back, main things to think about: internet connection has to be number one. Where your presenter is, make sure mirrors and windows are away. Try and get them on a blank background if possible. Look at what's on the bookshelves, look at what's around them, and making sure you've got really good sound and that you have got a good image and a good camera. They're the key things. If you've got any questions, as I always say, just give us a shout and we can go through it with you. But it is the future, and I think it's definitely worth. If you've got a presenter that you really want, don't say no just because they can't be physically in the room. You can definitely do something about that with video conferencing. Until next time, I'll see you later and I hope you have a fantastic week. Thanks, bye!